All right. Uh, Hello, everyone. How's it going? It's me, Motive. I am back with yet another ASMR video. But today there is a bit of a twist. Instead of just playing Dark Souls today, I thought we would do something interesting. So today we are over at the Dark Souls subreddit, and we are going to be looking at various posts about Priscilla and Gwynevere. I hope you are all excited. Yesterday, I reached the end of Painted World of Ariamis and walked up to the fog gate leading to Crossbead Priscilla. There was one lonely soapstone message outside the fog door, which simply read, "Feet." Now, this was a tad baffling, and honestly I couldn't wrap my head around this enigmatic prophecy. So I stepped through the fog gate, and there was Priscilla in all her glory, her pale feet glowing under a cloudy winter sky. I burst out laughing. I laughed loud and long, much longer than I should have. It was such a stupid and simple message, but my God, was it funny. Surrounding her were several other messages: weakness, feet, need feet, amazing feet ahead, virgin, I like Gwynevere's bobs versus the Chad. I want Priscilla to do things with her feet and get a frostbite from it. Lol, excellent title. Just wait until you meet Sister Frayed and see her cutscene in her boss fight. I think those messages were referring to her footprint when she disappears so you can track her, but to each their own, and you had fun with your interpretation, so I am glad. Knowing the Dark Souls community, I think not. Imagine you're just a dragon girl, vibing in the painted world, and some dude walks up, carves the word feet into the floor in front of you, then leaves. Yes, humor. It's purely humor and not boners driving those messages. You know it's a Miyazaki game when the toes on a woman's feet are all individually modeled and textured. Miyazaki and Tarantino really should collaborate. Yeah, Priscilla and Frayed foot fetish memes are a whole thing. LMAO. I straight up didn't even fight Priscilla. I don't really care about the loot she drops because she gave me the option of not fighting, and also as I don't want to disrespect amazing feet. Woman ahead, therefore feet. Now this is just amazing stuff. I really am proud of the Dark Souls community. They really have their priorities in check. Of course, What could possibly be more important than Priscilla feet? Kudos to the messages at Gwynevere's couch. Shout out to the trolls who've put down hilarious messages at Gwynevere's. This is certainly already 7 years old, but as a first timer, I've been trying to jump on the platform on which she rests for like 10 minutes to find an amazing chest ahead before it clicked that they were just troll messages about her boobs. Try holding with 2 hands, lol. This community is great, haha. Well, Dark Souls 2 had tri-tongue butthole messages near every female being and next to most animals. It all started with sticky white stuff next to a female NPC in Demon's Souls. Amazing chest ahead is actually a developer message. Man, do any of you have any idea how long I spent searching for a chest after Quail Egg because someone put the amazing chest ahead message before the boss door, and I thought beating her meant I got an amazing item, and I just couldn't find it. It was right there in front of you all along, skeleton. If I was the chosen undead, I would have given up my undead duty the second I opened those doors. Might as well take a seat and get comfortable. I imagine she'd enjoy the company. You will praise and curse this community more than anything else in this game. Just wait until you play the other games and try finger butt hole is around every damn corner. 3 things guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and an amazing chest ahead message on the ground in front of her door. Gwynevere theme's melody is getting an ear orgasm. Not only does she have a big chest, but what her theme represents, the overcoming of everything so far up until such a glorious moment. Anybody else think that part of the song is simply beautiful? How do you find out about the Gwynevere illusion? As the title says, what does your character in-game actually find about that Gwynevere in the Anor Londo throne room is actually an illusion? I mean, I know about it from YouTube and Wiki, but found no clue or evidence for that in-game during my first playthrough. So, are there any characters or item descriptions who give that illusion away? Or is it like an illusory wall where just one random player happened to come across it and spread the word? See massive chest ahead. Attack to see if they wobble. The absolute madwoman disintegrates instantly. There's the seance ring you find in the catacombs, but there's an even better clue. The Dark Moon Covenant ring flat out tells you. Gwendolyn, all too aware of his repulsive, frail appearance, created the illusion of a sister Gwynevere, who helps him guard over Anor Londo. An unmasking of these deities would be tantamount to blasphemy, which is actually a brilliant bit of lore building, as it implies that joining the Dark Moon Blades means you're privy to Gwendolyn's secrets, which is why I believe the Dark Moon Nidus is also aware of Gwynevere's illusory state. It also means those who kill Gwynevere are either murder happy or former Dark Moon Blades. Silver Knight's equipment tells you about their illusory goddess. And I'm not sure if I'm saying that word correctly. Illusory? Okay, so I just looked it up and it is pronounced illusory. Silver Knight Shield. Shield of the Silver Knights of Amorlando. A flowing canal is carved deep into its face. The Silver Knights stayed behind in Anorlando to defend the illusory goddess, and their shields are blessed with her divine protection. Gwynevere's bobs. Damn. They make my pee-pee go boing. Username checks out. This is why the fire's fading. What happened to Gwynevere? So the one in Anorlando is an illusion. So where is the real one? Don't know if this is answered in the first game, Dark Souls 3, or at all. You can see her after you defeat Ornstein and Smo. Can't you see that the goddess is all-powerful? Now be a good undead and link the first flame. Nobody really knows what happened to her. There's definitely no more mention of Gwynevere in Dark Souls 1 beyond that she had left Anorlando. DS3 references to Gwynevere are a bit all over the place, and people have been making their guesses. Much as it bothers me greatly, I've accepted that DS3 lore is just not as tight as DS1 lore, and we will never know what happened to the real Gwynevere. Someone stated this down below. She married Lan. That's all we know concretely. Other than that, it's just a bunch of theories. She somehow has been raising several kingdoms to relight the flame. Oh, and failing. Ring of the Sun Princess, read its description. This ring is granted to those who enter a covenant with Gwynevere, daughter of Lord Gwyn and the Princess of Sunlight. This slightly warm ring boosts the synergy of miracles. The Princess of Sunlight Gwynevere left Anorlando along many other deities, and later became wife to flame god Flan. Gwynevere soundtrack is the most beautiful thing I ever heard. I think it's not really underrated, but lots of people use this for fun editing. By the way, I think Gwyn's soundtrack is the best. Indeed, Gwynevere's soundtrack is the most beautiful thing to me too. Many of the songs in Dark Souls fit extremely well for the character they represent. Gwynevere's is awe-inspiring and beautiful, as befits the Princess of Sunlight. Then you have things like Cease, which is full of percussion and has a very crystalline feeling to it, while keeping the epic vocals for the feeling of this is an immortal dragon older than the fire itself. Then you have the Four Kings music track, which contains many overlapping voices chanting in unison as you try to survive the onslaught of all four kings of New Londo. I could go on and on, but I'll stop. Ha ha. Hearing this song for the first time after spending a weekend getting destroyed by those two frickers is one of the greatest overload of emotions I have felt playing a game. It's just incredible. Indeed, it's really underrated in my opinion. Gwynevere's personality and the vision of her figure are really told through the music, and that's something only a few composers can do. Alright guys, I know in this video I said I was going to discuss only Gwynevere and Priscilla, but I just want to read this one single post about Gwyn. For me, Gwyn is the strongest boss in Dark Souls 1. I've seen so many people saying that Gwyn isn't that hard of a boss, and the strongest ones are Calamite, Artorias, or ONS. But for me, Gwyn is the strongest one. I've finished Dark Souls many times, and Gwyn is a boss that I cannot defeat without Solaire. I'm not good at parrying, so I do not play around with this mechanic. I play around dodging and sometimes blocking. In my latest playthrough, I managed to defeat Calamite with ease in Artorias' first try, but Gwyn I just couldn't. He has so many attacks that come one after another that dodging just isn't enough. For me, only way to defeat Gwyn is to either cheese with parrying or use Solaire to distract him. As long as you can parry, Gwyn is super trivial. Note, I can't parry. I don't really like the buckler shield because it feels like it changes the timing, but it increases the parry frames by 30% versus normal shields. Bare hand parry into a 360 weapon swap. Get good, as my giant dad always said. Pro tip, look at the hands, not the swords. Pro tip, look at the elbow, and every high five will be a perfect high five. This usually works, but I have definitely had it fail for me. Maybe if both parties do it, it's more guaranteed. Yep, as soon as their hand starts moving forward, hit parry. That stinks about the pairing, as that trivializes him if you can parry, you can essentially just stand in front of him and block his strong attack, then parry his weaker one. If he grabs, just dodge sideways, rinse and repeat, and he's dead. In a way, trivializing him is what is supposed to happen. You aren't fighting the Lord of Sunlight anymore. You're putting an old, scared, tortured husk of a man out of his misery while he lashes out in fear and instinct. One thing I've realized in the game is all your enemies are either insane or withered husks of their former selves, meaning that while they're still immensely powerful, you're not fighting the gods of Dark Souls at their full power. One of the big endgame bosses is a single dragon who doesn't have any scales of immortality. Meanwhile, the other gods in their prime killed all the rest of the dragons. I love the world in decay feel that gives. Seath must really feel like a bitch now. Ain't even got legs. He's also blind. So the common consensus for dealing with Gwyn is to just parry to win, essentially. Personally, the way that I do it is you wait for him to do the jumping attack, because after he does the jumping attack, he leaves himself open for a bit, and it's about enough time to get a small hit off of him. And after you attack him that one time, you run away. You run away and force him to do the jumping attack again, and you simply rinse and repeat, and eventually he will be defeated. That's what I normally do to defeat Gwyn. And it's weird because I'm actually pretty darn good at parrying in Dark Souls, but for some reason parrying Gwyn is on a whole nother level for me, and I'm not sure why that's the case. But anyways, I hope that you all enjoyed this video where we took a deep dive into examining Priscilla and Gwynevere, looking at their amazing eyes and their the way that they smile. Yes. In case anyone, just in case anyone has mixed feelings about this video, just do note that this is a joke video. Well, the ASMR isn't a joke. I do weekly ASMR videos on my channel, but the ogling of Priscilla and Gwynevere that is the joke of the video, because it is a thing that many people do in the Dark Souls community. It's kind of just a Dark Souls thing that just sort of happens, and you just kind of gotta accept it because it's pretty funny. So please, all I ask is that you understand that this is meant to be a joke. It's not meant to be taken seriously. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope that I was able to help you relax, or maybe even hope that I was able to help you laugh. If you were watching the video to find it funny, that's okay too. But I'm getting pretty tired myself, so I'm also going to go to bed. So I will see you in the next one.